Hello, today I will be doing a video on Night Stalker, the hunt for a serial killer, about the famous Los Angeles serial killer Richard Ramirez. For whatever reason, I was never interested in Richard the way I was with Ted Bundy or Jeffrey Dahmer. Maybe it's because his victims were so scattered and he didn't have a pattern. The first episode starts off kinda strange. We are given a biography of one of the lead detectives in the case. Why do we need to learn the history of this detective? I don't know. I don't care about what it was like for him growing up as a Mexican. I really don't. And this is the very beginning of the show. We're given baby pictures and learn about his wife as well, and I'm thinking I do not care. I just thought it was very strange. Like, they kept mentioning that he was Mexican and that he was some poor Mexican kid, and now he's working with the white detectives or the Italian detectives, and he grew up eating Mexican food, and now he's eating Italian food. And it was just very all over the place. It was very strange. And I'm thinking, does this detective have an inferiority complex or something? It was very confusing. Thankfully, it did not last that long, and now we move on to Richard, and I was surprised to find out that he wasn't just a serial killer, but he was also a notorious child molester, which threw me off. And we also learn about a famous female reporter who was a freaking sociopath, who blackmailed the detectives about crucial evidence in order to get an exclusive interview. I know the job of a reporter is to report the news and get ratings, but when you're screwing with people's lives and you know that what you're doing can negatively affect the investigation and you have no problem releasing it, oh my god. I was hoping the Night Stalker would get her. She was such a piece of shit. Oh my god. Like, how can you live with yourself and give an interview 30 years later with a smug look on your face and be proud of what you were doing and know that you could have screwed up the chance of so many victims getting justice all because you couldn't keep your mouth shut? It's unbelievable. These are real people who were affected by real things. It's not like the latest celebrity scandal. These are people that were raped, murdered, or know someone who was raped and murdered, a loved one who was raped and murdered. Children were abducted and assaulted, and the only thing you care about is getting your 5 minutes of glory on TV. Fucking psycho bitch. Pardon my language, but I can't believe no one in this documentary went in on her. I mean, people go on and on about paparazzi invading the privacy of celebrities, but no one really goes in on reporters like this. Later episodes are a lot better. The second half of episode 2 and episode 3 had better pacing. It felt like I was watching a horror movie. It was really bone-chilling. I wish all 4 episodes felt like this, but they decided to focus so much on this one detective and his family, and I wish they didn't. Why are we focusing so much on him? He didn't even catch the guy. It seems like the women on here can't keep their mouths shut. I just thought it was very interesting. It was always a woman wanting to blab to the news. And I do think the Night Stalker is a terrible person and should be caught. But beating up on people to get information out of them just does not sit right with me. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that police brutality is such a problem with black people today. So this scene bothered me a lot. I don't know what the laws were like in the 80s, but I don't think that what this detective did was legal. Beating up or threatening to beat up someone to get a confession out of them, to get information out of them, I don't think that was ever legal, even in the 80s. The last 20 minutes were funny, in my opinion, because we get people's reactions to Richard Ramirez's groupies. It would have been nice if they could track down some of these groupies and maybe get interviews out of them, because I would love to know the mindset of what it would be like to be a groupie or a wannabe groupie of a serial killer. Like, what type of person would you have to be to think that's acceptable? I mean, talk about white privilege. Can you imagine someone labeling a black man as having sex appeal after he slaughtered a bunch of people and sexually assaulted children. And he was never executed for any of this. And they didn't have him in handcuffs during trial. Overall, I thought this miniseries was good. I finished it in one sitting, and I'm glad it was only 4 episodes, because too many times these Netflix shows drag on just because they can. But yeah, I give this a 6 out of 10.